Voice in my head was also heard by my dogs. I'm not sure if this is a good place to post this experience, so please let me know if there is a more suitable subreddit. Last night I was laying on the couch watching a basketball game. My 2 dogs were laying next to me. I heard a distinct child's voice say no, not yet. As soon as I heard no, both of my dogs simultaneously jumped up, growling and barking. They are usually very calm dogs and generally only bark if they hear someone at the door. If it was not for the reaction from my dogs, I would say the voice came from my subconscious, as I was the only one home. I'm not sure what we heard. It was very strange. The dogs were on edge for the next several minutes, sniffing around the room and occasionally growling. Has anyone had a similar experience or have any insight? Thank you. Vulnerable girls had protective dog drugged prior to break-in. A co-worker friend worked night shift with me while her teenage daughter was home alone except for her best friend spending the night. They had a huge, ferocious, fiercely protective German Shepherd. Late at night several males were at multiple entry points around the house attempting to break in. The girls were scared. The daughter called her mom at work, who sent the police, as well as her brothers that were staying at friends close by. Everyone converged on the house and the culprits ran away. My friend's dog surprisingly did not go on the attack. They noticed he seemed out of it and was staggering. They later found several pieces of meat tainted with sedatives in the yard. These people trying to break in had planned ahead by drugging the dog to ensure he was out of the way. Weird dream about 2026. Looking for similar dreams or experiences? I'll try to keep it short. About 10 years ago, I had this dream that somehow interrupted another I was having. All of a sudden I found myself walking in silence, in the fog, could not see the sky, could just see the earth below me. The ground was just dead? Ruined somehow. Then I realized that the fog was smoke, and as it cleared in front of me, I saw these large numbers built like the Hollywood sign on fire. It was 2026? As soon as I saw the numbers I woke up. I remember the dream to this day, the feeling of dread and like I was somewhere I didn't belong, since I was basically ripped out the dream I was having and then placed in that one. Has anyone else experienced something like this? What could it mean? Weird phone call that happened years ago that I cannot forget. About 5 to 6 years ago I was headed to a dinner date with my BF at the time. I received an incoming call from Mexico. I answered it out of curiosity. On the other end I heard a lady yell frantically, ayúdame, which means help me in Spanish. I said hello? What? Then she kept frantically crying and then the call ended, but it said call failed. This really bothered me for a long time. I thought of the possible scenarios or why she would call me. I think it was just a random dial to try to find help. I know I will never be able to know the real answer. But it's something I like to think about. What do you guys think? Weird thing a kid said the other day. I was at work and a little girl says, "Hey, other kid's name is going home." There were no cars in sight and no parent had called, and the kid wasn't supposed to leave for another few hours, so I said, "Not yet, but he will in a few hours," and she was very sure this kid was going home. 5 minutes later I get a call from the kid's mom. He had a family emergency and was going home. I thought it was a weird coincidence until it kept happening with different random things, so I asked her parents about it and they said, "Yeah, she always knows stuff before it happens. It's very creepy, but she's always right." So the next time it happens I ask her, "How do you always know what's gonna happen?" And she replies, "There's a crack in my brain and all the secrets go in." What are friends for? Today is the day. I set off early this morning with my best friend John to go skydiving for the first time. And now, here I am, hurtling towards the ground at 120 miles per hour, with my parachute cord cut. Certain death awaits. In John's coat pocket is the scissors it was cut with, nestled beside his mobile phone, with a text message to my wife filling her in on his plan. John has been having an affair with her for the past few months. I would never have thought John would do this to me. But I might as well make the most of how I end things. It's just a pity I won't be around to see the look on his face when he finds those little surprises in his coat pocket. What happened? My brother goes downstairs to go to the bathroom. I went downstairs and knocked on the door because he had been like 30 minutes. He responded by saying he was there. I sit in the kitchen to wait for him so we can leave. I heard the door open. I wait for him to come out and then I look in to see if he's there, but he wasn't. There is only one exit to the bathroom, which is to walk by where I was sitting, but I never seen him go by. I ask my grandpa if he has seen him, but he says no. I go back upstairs and he's right there. My stairs are loud AF, so I would have heard him. I asked him how long he'd been there and he said he'd been there for about half an hour. WTF. What is the conspiracy theory that you think makes the most sense and has the best chance of being true? Conspiracy theories can include, but are not limited to: asterisk aliens have visited and the government is hiding them. Asterisk the moon landing was faked. Asterisk CERN created a black hole in 2012 and we are inside it. Asterisk the Pope is hiding the body of Jesus in the Vatican. Asterisk we are living in the Matrix and scientists have found proof. Asterisk the UN's Agenda 21 plan to K*LL the majority of Earth's population. Asterisk NASA is hiding the existence of a second sun. They don't need to be this crazy either. They could be as mainstream as 9/11 or the JFK assassination being inside jobs. I'm curious to see which theories of your own you find the most plausible, your reasoning behind it, which you find the most fun to research, and possibly any evidence. What was that all about? Hashtag what was that all about? Camora. Well, I was relaxing in my house the other day, late at night. Out of the blue, doorbell rings. I open. My neighbor, married with 4 children, standing on my doorstep. Serious guy who never gave me the creeps or suspicion, always friendly, never flirt. What's up? I ask. I wonder if you would like to have S*X with me, he says. With one breath. I got shocked, refused him. No dramas there, just a small talk and a good night. Things like that never happen to me nor to people I know. What could drive a man to ask so dry a woman for S*X? Is he creepy? Shall I start being afraid of him? I mean, who does that? What's the creepiest thing you've witnessed camping in a forest or national park? I camp solo a lot in national parks and forests. Not only is it free, but I can let my dogs run wild. Throughout my many travels, the creepiest S*, it always happens in these places. I haven't had any one big experience, it's always smaller, inexplicable things. From my dogs growling wildly at nothing, to finding skinned animal carcasses in the middle of nowhere, to hearing voices that I wasn't able to find. I can hardly stay in these areas anymore because I get so scared at night. I will also say, the creepiest areas I've stayed while camping are the Pacific Northwest and Northern California. I was wondering if anyone else has had any particularly creepy things happen to them in national parks and forests? When I was a child, I watched a stuffed animal get up and walk on its own. Sounds stupid, right? Yeah. To me it does as well. But, I vividly remember it, and I very very distinctly remember how F***Carrot King terrified I was. It was a Pokemon Charmander stuffed animal. I was laying in bed and felt something moving. I flipped over to face it. The damn thing was getting up and moving to the end of my bed. I jumped up, screamed louder than I ever think I've screamed in my entire life, and bolted down the stairs and into my mom's room. I know I wasn't asleep because we had just gotten into bed, and this happened maybe at least an hour later. I think I was around 8 or 9 years old at the time. I threw it away, outside. I've heard of kids saying / claiming that their toys move on their own. Maybe they're not lying. When I was a child, I had a sister named Jennifer. I told everyone that I had a sister named Jennifer, although Jennifer wasn't real. I would talk about her in such detail that people would ask my parents about her and why she wasn't around. My parents always had to explain to people that what I was saying wasn't true, that I was the only child. FF to a few days ago. I was cleaning out my son's bag of schoolwork that he brought home. He's 7, so it's usually filled with some work and mostly doodles and stories. I happened to open up a picture he drew with a sentence, "My mom likes to read to me and my sister," and there was a picture of us and sister that he drew. I have only had one pregnancy, never had any miscarriages or anything along those lines that would make him think that he had a sister. Anyone think it's the same girl? Winged Creature, June of 2013, my wife and I with our youngest son, 11, at the time, were sitting by a small fire in our backyard in Groveland, Massachusetts. The last ribbon of purple light lay on the horizon where the sun had disappeared. We were all looking up to see who would be first to spot a satellite. We all saw it at the same time. larger than large with a condor-like profile. The wings were so large that they looked clumsy and slow. It was only visible for a few seconds at treetop level or so. After it disappeared into inky night, we all agreed that it was massive and was not an eagle, heron, or any other common big bird in the area. We never saw it or anything resembling it again. Wish I could say thank you to the waiter. It was about 2004 to 2005. I was 10 years old. I went out to eat with my father. The restaurant was almost empty. We sat on a table across from each other. While we were eating, I noticed a creepy old dude looking at me. At first I didn't really pay attention. As the time went by, he kept staring at me, a 10-year-old kid. He made me feel so uncomfortable I couldn't even eat. I was so embarrassed and I couldn't say anything to my father, like it was my fault this old dude was staring at me. My face was probably red. The waiter who was standing next to this creepy old man's table noticed that something wasn't right. So he stood in front of the creep and he blocked the view for him. I remember feeling relieved that he did that, and I wish I could say thank you to this kind person. Words you should know. Hello, everyone. So, is English not your native language? Offered here is a simple test to see if you have the basics down. Imply think of the right word, and click the blank space to reveal the answer. 1 is Yamari. If you still want to catch the bus, you'll need to run. 2, just look at that dog. Isn't it cute? 3, Inoa, do you know where my phone is? For Hales Omion was standing so close, he could feel the stranger breathe down his neck. 5, T is not what I ordered, can you replace it, please? 6, either we get this generator going, or there won't be much left of the food in our freezer. 7, our UST forms over time when metal is exposed to water. I hope this can help you.